Hello everyone, ich bin der Angelo. My name is Angelo and welcome to my channel. Yes, I'm switching to English for now in this video after the previous ones I did in German. Today I would like to talk about a few reasons why you can't learn German. I am highlighting some of the most common that I think why most people could just try but would have a very hard time getting by in this very tricky language. Also, los geht's! If you have the mentality that German or any other languages per se could be learned in a week, in a month, or even just a year, then you might not have any chance of learning it at all. Sometimes we stumble upon these videos wherein people are claiming that they learned German fast. Is this true? However, if we pay enough or close attention to the story that they recount in the video, then we would realize that they didn't really learn the language fast. They only tell how they got to a certain level, generally basic, in a short period of time. But they still had to go through more and further studies to fully attest to learning German. As for me, learning German is not just about acquiring the basics. It's not about knowing that I studied it some time to say I learned it, but I could not really express well in it. It's about being able to actively use it in speaking, in writing, in reading, and in comprehension. I have been studying this language for a long while now. Patience, diligence, and consistency. They're just some of the traits that I've acquired through these years. I know for a fact that German cannot be learned fast. So, if you are learning or planning to learn German, be prepared for a long and exciting journey to come. You might have already heard some people saying that German is harsh or it sounds so aggressive and they do not like it. If you listen to them or continue to do so, then you might end up like them, not learning German. They're basically the ones who don't know the language, or those who gave up, because they have realized that they're not apt for the language. Well, if you haven't heard yet, I'll tell you, German sounds so beautiful. It is indeed a beautiful language as a whole. Even I did not know that before. Persuaded by the stereotypes they spread about it, it was late for me to discover that. Anyway, it's a long time ago and I've got a whole different story now. I always remember this moment when I was on my hospital bed in Berlin waiting for a surgery to be done, and there were two doctors examining me before that happened. I listened to them talking in German. It was the time I fully realized that I really liked the sound of this language. It was the peak. It was like a beautiful song that my ears always wanted to listen to. It was a relief that although I was in a situation where I was supposed to be anxious, I was okay. I know that some of you can identify with me about this too. I can tell you, I am sure you are not ready for German if you don't know these things yet. First, there's a lot of memorizing to do. It could be quite a challenge because German truly has a very rich vocabulary. Aside from the simple words that can turn complicated sometimes, they have these well-constructed compound words that can already explain very deep concepts. I've got here the list of the more popular ones, like Handschuhe, Erklärungsnot, Feierabend, Schadenfreude, Kummerspeck, Himmelblau, Bauchpinsel. And take note that the meaning of most of these words doesn't really have to do with the words they're composed of. Also, these compound words can span a seriously very long word with up to 60 letters. This can be very mouthful, so one has to prepare and learn those simple and compound words separately. The German vocabulary gets even richer. It's unstoppable. In the past year alone, the Germans have coined at least 1,200 new German words during the 2020 pandemic period. Not to miss are the 3 German articles for nouns: der, die, das. As a prerequisite to understanding the German grammar, one has to know the gender of the word and which article to use. Learning that is not so simple as it sounds. Even though there are rules that guide learners on how to identify the gender of the word, the logic gets much more complicated. That it's more advisable when you learn a new word, do that along with its article. It's much easier and more convenient. Another thing, German grammar is complex. Even for some Germans, they find their native language hard sometimes. To give you an idea, some of the concepts that I'm going to say next may not be present in your mother language. They are conjugations and declensions, which are not very particular in English. For example, there's also inversions going on. Sentence inversion happens when we place words or phrases in different order than normal. And look, this is very prominent in this language. You might find it difficult, but you really have to study its grammar. And to effectively do that, you have to spend a lot of time on it. It's on top of everything. It is possible when you know you're ready for it. And when you know you can learn German. The purpose of this video is not to discourage you to start or continue studying. It is actually the opposite. I hope that this video helped in giving you the idea about the reality of learning the German language. So later, you won't say, "I wish I knew them before." I guess this is all for today. I would like to recommend you as well my previous videos, especially the video where I shared how I train my German pronunciation. I still have got a lot of stories to tell about my language learning journey, so please watch out for that. And yeah, please support by liking this video and most importantly by subscribing. Alright, hope to see you next time. Thank you and have a good one.